Daktari means doctor in Swahili, this being the language of Africa where the popular TV series was based. Issued in 1967, Gift Set 7 consisted of a Land Rover in green and black camouflage with Dr. Marsh Tracy seated in the rear examining Judy the chimp with his stethoscope. His assistant Paula was sat astride Clarence the cross-eyed lion, who was fitted with a pair of spectacles. A tiger laying resplendent on the vehicle's bonnet completed this charming little set. Variations are known on the Land Rover, which can be fitted with spun or cast wheels up to 1973, when whiz wheels were fitted and the set repackaged in the Corgi company's new style boxes. Apart from damage to the vehicle, the main problem is locating mint and boxed examples in finding a complete set. There always seems to be a part missing. With over 1 million produced, this is a relatively easy set to find. It was withdrawn in 1976. Much harder to find is the giant Daktari set, gift set number 14. This item was released in 1969, and only just over 100,000 would be produced before its withdrawal in 1973. Based on the contents of gift set 7, this colourful item included a giraffe transporter with mother and child animals and a livestock lorry containing 2 elephants. The animals were protected from their respective vehicles by the styrofoam box inner and cardboard packing pieces. Apart from wheels, there are no known variations on the models. The giraffe vehicle is beige in colour with a brown camouflage back, and the Dodge cargo lorry has a blue cab and a beige stake-sided back end. Both models have paper labels reading Wamuru Subdistrict, with an additional zebra transfer on the Dodge. Wheels up till 1972 could be spun or cast on all 3 vehicles, with various combinations occurring in one set. But 1973 saw the Land Rover fitted with whiz wheels, the Dodge with cast wheels only, and the giraffe transporter with the latest type truck wheel. Box variations are as gift set 7, with the early and colourful yellow and blue box giving way to the new style packaging in 1973. However, the new boxes did not have the superb clip-in backdrop of an African safari scene that doubled as an inner protective sleeve before the sets were sold. This item is usually missing, as are some of the figures, making this a rare and desirable item when complete. The Beatles' yellow Submarine was a fantasy vehicle and model as seen in the cartoon film. Catalogued as number 803, it was released in 1969 and did not sell well, resulting in its early withdrawal only 2 years later. The box had a stand-up card header showing the cartoon characters, and the model, box and coloured graphics captured the psychedelic era of the late 60s well. The yellow and white model ran along on 3 wheels and a plastic roller, all concealed underneath. A 4-sided periscope would rotate as the model was pushed along, and the Beatles would appear in pairs from front and rear hatches, operated by pushing down on 2 cast levers set in the side of the model. Colourful transfers adorned the sides of the Submarine, and a plastic propeller was fitted to the rear. There are no known box variations, but early issues of the model had the front hatch coloured in white and the rear in yellow, matching the body. But they soon changed permanently to red. With such low production figures, the model is rare, with the first issue being virtually impossible to find. Faults found on surviving models include broken or missing front and rear wheel or rollers, hatches that will not open or shut properly, and not always noticed, a damaged propeller. All in all, a rare but fairly fragile item that commands a high premium when perfect. Catalogue number 801, Noddy's car was released in 1969, and the little yellow car with red mudguards contained Noddy and Big Ears in the front seats, and Golly facing rearwards from the dicky seat. Golly's face was originally black, but due to the racial problems of the times, Golly's face was soon changed to grey or light tan. This is the only variation of this first issue, with a black collie being the hardest to find. In the same year of issue, Golly was removed completely, to be replaced by Master Tubby, a teddy bear. This bear was available in light or dark brown. The box graphics were altered to show Noddy's new passenger. The model was withdrawn in 1973, before Corgi repackaged their model range in the new type boxes. Over 280,000 of this model were produced, and both variants are scarce. However, in 1975, Corgi reissued Noddy's car in a completely new form. Gone was big ears, the dicky seat, and the rear figure. The model was shorter due to the loss of the passengers, and the chrome rear bumper was no more. Catalogue number 804 was withdrawn in 1978 after sales of 128,000 and is the easier model to find. All the Noddy cars have no working parts, and apart from damage to the vulnerable windscreen and headlamps, have nothing to go wrong with them. The tyres cannot be replaced, however, as they are bonded to the wheels. Popeye's Paddle Wagon, catalogue number 802, was a completely fictitious model released by Corgi late in 1969. A large and heavy boat-like vehicle that, when pushed along, caused the figure of Popeye to rotate and scan the horizon through his telescope, which in turn knocked Olive Oyl sideways and back on a swivel pin. Figures of Bluto and Wimpy went up and down on pistons, and Sweet Pea sat in a small boat at the rear and could be lowered to the ground on operating davits. Tins of spinach graced each side of the boat, and the whole operation of the model simulated the crew riding the waves in their paddle wagon. Model variations appear to be limited to the rear paddle wheels, which came painted in yellow or white, and the chrome funnel top, which sometimes has a reinforcing top ring around the brittle plastic prongs. The box was extremely colourful, and there are no known variations. Apart from obvious damage to the delicate parts, such as the lifeboat support ropes and the funnel top, the model is quite sturdy. The base unscrews to allow access to the mechanical parts, so it could be possible to repair or repaint various parts without detection. It is therefore important to authenticate originality before purchasing this expensive piece. This very imaginative item was withdrawn in 1972 with sales of approximately 200,000, ensuring its rarity today. 1971 saw the release of another Corgi comic, Basil Brush's car. Catalogue number 808 was based on an old Renault classic casting and included a large figure of Basil Brush in the driving seat. The red and yellow car had no operating features, but the packaging included 2 laugh tapes and a sound box that, when operated correctly, caused a noise similar to the raucous laugh of Basil himself. It takes practice to perfect the technique, but it is possible. The tapes, however, are brittle and break easily. They are contained in a separate cardboard box, and full instructions are printed on it. No variations are known on models or boxes, and Basil was withdrawn from sale in 1973. Apart from obvious damage, the model is prone to box rub on the projecting parts. And of course, the tapes and laugh box must be included before this scarce item can be termed mint and boxed. The Dick Dastardly racing car was released in 1973 under catalogue number 809. This odd-looking vehicle, based very loosely on a racing car, contained Dick Dastardly seated at the front in a typically wicked pose, and his dog companion Muttley gripping on tightly to the rear aerofoil. Only 117,000 of these weird models were produced before withdrawal a year later. No box variations have been noticed, and the model has only been seen in purple and yellow with red balloon-type wheels. The vehicle does not damage easily, but Muttley is often missing. The Disney characters portrayed on the side of the yellow Disneyland bus warrants its inclusion in this review. The Route Master bus was released in 1977 and withdrawn only a year later after sales of only 97,000. Catalogued as number 470, this item has no variations to models or box and is easy to find. Corgi released the superbly detailed Tarzan gift set 36 in July 1976. The window box displayed the array of models neatly packed in Perspex bubbles and contained a Land Rover with trailer, a dinghy with outboard motor, plastic figures of 2 different Tarzans, Jane, Boy, and a white hunter. 5 animals were included: a lion, an elephant, a crocodile, a snake, and Cheetah the chimp. A plastic tree house and 3 swinging vines could be mounted on the 3D jungle diorama. The highly colourful graphics producing a fabulous and realistic jungle scene to set the models in. This cardboard panorama was packed in the base of the box and could be seen through the box front. The jungle-style printing on the outer box completed this rare and desirable set. The reverse of the box gave detailed instructions on how to set up the magnificent display and send the figures swinging along the supplied tightrope on their plastic creepers. Very few sets have survived the passage of time, and it was impossible to locate enough of them to compare for variations. As it was only produced for 2 years, we doubt there are any, but there is always a possibility. July 1976 also saw the release of Kojak Buick, catalogue number 290, a large-scale car in a window box with detailed header. A figure of Kojak was included, standing beside the open door of his vehicle, and Crocker was firing his gun from the rear seat. The model would produce a simulated gunfire sound by turning a serrated wheel set into the rear bumper. A red beacon on a plastic line could be clipped onto the roof, just as our hero did in the TV series. Included in the set was a self-adhesive, embossed, silver foil lieutenant's badge, similar in size to the real thing. Regarding variations, this model has them all. The boxes are only subtly different and vary according to translations of certain text for other countries. The model is known in shades of metallic paint varying from copper to quite a dark brown. The wheels can be either the 4-spoke or disc pattern, and car and figures sit in front of a New York skyline backdrop on either a cardboard or a polystyrene platform and ends. However, the most obvious difference lies with the Kojak figure itself. Available with or without his trilby, it is the hatless Kojak that is the scarcest, and it would appear that Crocker is dressed in black rather than the standard blue when accompanying his bald colleague. With sales of over 800,000 before its withdrawal in 1980, it is not a rare item and should be relatively easy to find. Another popular TV cop series was Starsky and Hutch. Issued in 1977 under catalogue number 292, the red Ford Torino with its large white stripe came complete with plastic figures of Starsky and Hutch and a suspect criminal leaning prone against the side of the car. The stand-up card header window box had a New York night scene backdrop, against which the models were displayed. No other accessories were included with this popular set, which was withdrawn in 1982. No variations have been discovered, but minor variations of box and models may have occurred during the production of nearly 1 million items. Consequently, it is not a rare set and is relatively easy to locate in mint condition. Rivaling American TV police serials was their British equivalent, The Professionals. The metallic silver Ford Capri 3-litre S was issued in 1980 and given catalogue number 342. The model came with plastic figures of Cowley, Bodie and Doyle, set on an angled base with printed skid marks. The outer box was the usual window type with card header, proclaiming The Professionals and CI5. No box variations have been noted, but the model can come in varying grades of metallic paint, and different wheel types were fitted. All these larger scale models are very durable, and there is very little to break through careless handling, but it is easy for the figures to go missing. Only 120,000 professional Capris were produced, and they're fairly scarce today. Another American TV series, Vegas, starring Don Tanner, prompted the release of Corgi's version in 1980. Catalogued as number 348, the model of a 50s Ford Thunderbird convertible had Dan seated at the wheel, pointing a gun over his shoulder. Complete with opening bonnet and boot and a plastic aerial, this well-detailed model came in the usual angled base window box with stand-up card header. Low sales of just over 100,000 means this item is fairly difficult to find. There are no noted variations of model or box, but no doubt closer scrutiny of a number of them would uncover something different. In 1978, Corgi released a Chevrolet van, painted in bright pink, with highly decorated paper labels on each side. The graphics were of the three lovely and dangerous ladies from the American TV series Charlie's Angels. Over 150,000 of catalogue number 434 were sold, always in its window box, with header card displaying the same graphics as the model. Box variations are limited to slightly different text on the back of the base. And the model came with yellow or brown interior and 4-spoke or disc wheels. The rear doors opened on this vehicle to reveal a detailed interior, but with no other operating features or accessories, this model is no more desirable now as it was when first issued.